This morning, our series, The Dish, goes to New Orleans to explore a meal essential to Creole cooking. Red beans and rice is a staple in the city, famous for its different cuisines. Jamie Wax looks at the history of the iconic dish and visits the bean factory that's celebrating 100 years of tradition.
Here at Lil Dizzy's Cafe in New Orleans, known for its comfort food, one dish has found its way into the city's soul: red beans and rice. It's a meal typically served here on Mondays, traditionally wash day down south. And for the last 100 years, the New Orleans company, Camellia Brand, has been supplying these little legumes to homes and restaurants across the country. What started as a farmer's market stand back in 1923 has since evolved into a powerhouse, family-owned operation.
Look at this, like, gorgeous flow of red beans here.
We met Vince Hayward, Camellia's fourth-generation owner, on a recent visit to the factory. Tell me about the history of specifically Louisiana red beans and rice.
Well, beans and rice is truly an ancient food, and it connects every culture throughout the world. New Orleans really was one of the original melting pots of our country. In fact, my family came here from the Caribbean, and with that came the familiarity with beans and rice.
This really is a food for tough times in the early days and for people who didn't have a lot of money.
You're right. I choose to look at it a little different way.
Tell me.
Yeah, I say it's a food that spans economic boundaries, geographic boundaries. You can be from the highest economic layer to the lowest. You still enjoy this dish.
And there's no doubt New Orleans enjoys this dish. There's even a special Mardi Gras parade crew simply to celebrate red beans. But there's perhaps no one who embraced the food more than the great Louis Armstrong. The legendary jazz artist famously signed his notes, "Red beans and ricely, yours, Louis."
What is the secret? Why are we so loyal to you and to these beans?
We're an authentic component to a very strong tradition, and we work very hard to make sure that the beans that we sell to our consumers are as good as they can be, and they're gonna taste great.
Back at Lil Dizzy's Cafe, I enjoyed a bowl of their red beans and rice to an embarrassing extent, alongside founder Wayne Baquet.
How many plates a Monday of red beans do you serve here at Lil Dizzy's, would you say?
100 plates on a Monday, and sometimes more. Sometimes they sell so much, at the end of the day, they run out.
How would you describe the basic flavor, for people who don't know, of New Orleans red beans?
It's like dying and going to heaven. How's that?
That's very
It's
good.
unbelievable. You know, I mean, if you have to go and you wanted your last meal, I always said, I want some red beans and rice and hot sausage. And that's a fact.
A sentiment that many Louisianians would agree with, all thanks to a vegetable that has become deeply rooted into the hearts and stomachs of its community.
This is probably the richest and most diverse food city in America, and you are an anchor of it. Do you feel the weight of that legacy?
We're just a family here selling some beans, and that's kind of how we see ourselves. But we understand our responsibility to make sure that we don't disappoint the people that have supported our brand for literally generations. And does that feel a little like it's a responsibility? Absolutely, it sure does.
Okay.
When he said best food, he goes, and that's a fact.
That's a fact.
You have to
what do
tell
y'all
us about
think
your
of my jacket?
I love your jacket right there.
This is from the crew of Red Beans, which you guys should like march in for sure.
We got red beans and we got some cornbread.
Oh, I mean, is there anything better than that? That is absolute New Orleans comfort
That's
food.
right. Hey,
The
Vlad.
best thing in the world.
You gonna eat your cornbread. All right, Jamie. Hey, I appreciate it.
And you have some
That's a good
sausage
one.
in here too, Jamie.
That is a really nice jacket.
You have
by
some
the way.
sausage in here.